Good dag, and welcome back to the Norwegian campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So we're gonna start out with this convoy defense mission. I got 3 light cruisers versus one bigger American light cruiser. The Tangrisnit is brand new. Brage is old, but has a refit. Svein is just old. Well, Embla, but it's a Brage class. So, anyway, we're defending 12 transports. So let's try and sink this with before it can sink our transports. And also, curious to see what kind of light cruiser the Americans have built. Because it was pretty big for a light cruiser. Let's see, what kind of speeds do I have here? 27, 35, 30. Alright. So you're gonna go alone, Skula. The 2 slower ones can remain in a unit. Oh yeah, it's one of these things that I made. Okay, still Mark 4 guns. I haven't given them a refit. They've been kinda low on the priority list. But still, that's, you know, it's got 8 7.5-inch guns. That's pretty decent firepower. $106 million. 117. Pretty much the same. This one a little bit more more premium, I guess you could say. Let's see if we can spot the Americans again. And take a look at their light cruiser. There it is. Their DD2. Honolulu. I mean, that looks pretty decent, doesn't it? Those are some decent guns, decent armor, decent everything, really. Yeah, no complaints here. I like to say the main guns on the barbettes so that the torpedoes don't interfere. How about their DD? Because the U.S. Navy has a lot of DDs. Knowing what they're all about could be important. So 5-inch guns, a double and a single. 12.9 kilometer electric torpedoes. Alright. So not very long torpedo range then, for either of them. Gunning down their DDs before they get into range shouldn't be too much of a problem. Torpedoes in the water. Oh, maybe we're gonna get some hits with the torpedoes here. My guns are certainly not doing a whole lot. There we go. My guns are doing things. Yeah, it looks like we're winning the gun duel. What kind of ammunition do they have on those 7.7s? Ah, low penetration ammunition. Semi-ballistic AP, incendiary HE. Would have been a very good choice in vanilla. Not so much in dip. Well, I say, and they do that. And they hit a secondary gun. How they scored that penetration. Okay, and we got incoming torpedoes. Let's send some torpedoes in return. See if we can get a couple of hits. Honolulu has taken quite a bit of damage. Now we're landing hits on the DD as well. Honolulu is gonna sink. There she goes. And we do score a torpedo hit on the enemy DD. Alright. So my light cruiser, Skuda, took some damage. But it's not too bad, really. And the other two are completely unharmed, which is good. We're gonna... Oh, darn it. I was gonna click fight until the end, but... Yeah, we're not gonna get a peace treaty anyway, because I'm doing a naval invasion. So... it shouldn't matter. Let's see, do I have anything in Torshavn? Because the Germans are sending a light cruiser there. We got a Haughty here in Iceland. It can probably intercept. There we go. Now the other side. Like, okay. I was trying to send it to like this bay here, so it can actually run into that German light cruiser. Maybe it's not gonna matter too much. Well, okay. If it wants to go there, it will go there. Next month we're getting Mark 5 19-inch guns and radar rangefinder 3. And a couple of other like reputable technologies, which is nice. Also, I have sped up the construction of some German ships, so they should be finished. Well, finished construction next turn. They're still gonna have to be commissioned, but it should somewhat make up for the German AI just scrapping half their navy. It's a 140,000 ton battleship, so they do have one of those left. That is good to see, actually. Ah. Okay, so we're not sending this light cruiser out there alone. Never mind, I thought it was just the German light cruiser going there. but apparently not. That means my battle cruisers have a job to do still. And the objective is the same as last time. We're gonna try and not sink the German battleship, because that's something I would like to have for myself. Also, I need to scrounge up some ships from somewhere, send them up here to northern Russia, and start a naval invasion. It should not require a whole lot of tonnage, I think. So something like half a task force should be enough. Okay, American ships, where are you going to? If I can just actually... There you go. Are you at war with France? You are. Okay. So, either the French Navy or me will get to fight that American task force. Let's see which it is. And unsurprisingly, the German head of Admiralty is fired. You know, scrapping 90% of your navy just before you're about to go to war. That was a pretty big mistake. So, Britain and Russia. Ah, okay. Here we go. That's the task force I was hoping would not get bumped by an enemy task force. Because these are the really old boats that are just here to do a naval invasion. Well. So we got some 50,000 ton American battleships with 6 20-inch guns each. And some pretty decent looking heavy cruisers as well. And of course a lot of these DDs. Those are kind of slow, aren't they? 25 knots. Well, can I withdraw? Nope. So we're just gonna have to do the best of it. And that is, I guess, a kind of Nelsonian take on an Iowa. Looks kind of funky. Liking the look of that heavy cruiser. And, well, let's see what the new DDs can do. The Ormen Lange class. So these are look at that kind of cruiser. Ron, you can just follow Friday. Dog, you can maybe make yourself useful somehow. So these DDs, I do not want them in a division. Simply because they were they got torpedoes on both sides. So they have to do some turning to get the most out of those torpedoes. Let's see, where is the American Navy? Are they all invisible? I guess they are because it's night. I think I will just send my battleships home. They don't have much of a hope of dealing with that American task force. I'm gonna need this light cruiser here as a spotter for my DDs. Although I guess they can probably do some spotting for themselves. I think they've got pretty good towers, don't they? Anyway, let's speed up time a little bit. There we go. Enemy battleships spotted. Let's see what they're all about. They were all about the big guns. Clearly. That's a pretty, for having 20-inch guns, 1.3 billion? It's a pretty good price. Mark IIs, okay. I don't think they're the latest creations of the American shipyards. I still have to get to within their range of their guns, though, to launch torpedoes. My torpedo range is 21.5. So I want to close to within, just within their torpedo range. Dog, you can start just doing donuts here. Just stick around to provide some long-range radar spotting. Hopefully a couple of good torpedo volleys into the center of the formation should do some damage and possibly slow them down. Allowing my task force to escape. Let's see, are we in range yet? Kind of hard to tell with the there we go. So something like so. Let's be careful now, not run into our own torpedoes. And you're aiming at that cruiser, that is fine. It should be good with the torps. There we go. It doesn't have like the half the hull sticking out of the water. Alright. So we've launched from one side. Now I gotta turn around and do that again. Sadly, I think the targets I picked were maneuvering at the time of launch, so who knows how that lead was applied. Okay, and we've turned the other cheek. So you can target Wyoming, actually. It's a pretty good target, I think. You can target Phoenix. There go torpedoes. Wyoming coming into range very soon. You have launched. You can now retreat. 07 has launched. And we're starting to get torpedo hits. Excellent. Lots of torpedo hits. Including on one of their battleships. Seems like a lot of my torpedoes are gonna miss though. But we're up to 10 hits so far. We've taken very little damage in return. J4307 is taking some minor hits. Here come another volley. More torpedo hits to be scored. My battleships seem to be getting away, which is good. So far, so good. Yeah, we've done some pretty serious damage to some of these American ships. Let's take a look at their cruisers. That's a ooh, that's not very heavily armed, is it, for a cruiser? This heavy cruiser is pretty decent, I would say. No radar, so it's not the most modern they have. Same here, I guess. But yeah, it's not a bad like layout. Like that, it's got 10-inch double turrets. A decent amount of firepower for a cruiser. No option of ending the battle yet. But so far, pretty happy with how that torpedo attack went. No enemy ships sunk. Just a bunch of damage spread around. It didn't really slow them down though. I was hoping more of their ships should take lots of flooding and slow down the entire formation. And it did slow down some of them. And overall formation speed didn't seem to take much of a hit. So they're still fast enough to potentially catch up to my my battleships. Which means my DDs might have to try and do that again. Yeah, top bit is firing back. Okay, we're bringing in the DDs again. Intercept. I was also hoping the enemy formation would follow my DDs. Oh, wait. Nope. We can get out of this. Nice. So, no enemy ships sunk. Just quite a bit of damage spread around. That was a lot of torpedo hits scored. 10 torpedo hits. 7 torpedo hits. Nice. That's exactly the kind of job I want these DDs to do. Here we go. Got another one of those 20-inch armed Utah-class battleships. But this time, we have a force of our own that can actually deal with them. We got the super battleship Jotunheim, as well as 4 battle cruisers, some heavy cruisers, and a lot more of these DDs. Very nice. Let's see what we can do with this. Well, the enemy certainly has enough heavy cruisers. Let's see. Let's get my stuff organized. It's a lot of stuff to organize. Alright, things have been organized. Kind of. So here's the Jotunheim with her refit Mark V 18-inch guns, which kind of look a bit small compared to what the Mark IVs used to look like, because it used to have some really big like French style turrets, but when refit to Mark V they kind of shrunk down to American style, you know the Iowa type turrets. Which makes me wonder, that ship class I made with the quadruple firing forward facing 16-inch turrets, if I made something like that with Mark V 18s, would that still work? Because there's not that much of a size difference. Okay, Jotunheim is already firing at a range of 42 kilometers. And some decent long range right there. Slowing down to cruising speed. And Holgerdanske, also very long range with those 16s. Very impressive. That's why I like getting the Mark V guns. They're just that good. I have the two Ormen Lange class DDs just sailing around in circles here until I need them. If I do need them. Let's take a look at some more American ships. Let's see what we are up against here. Another class of heavy cruisers, 10.1-inch guns. This time they do have radar. And again, this is... Well, I was just about to say it's pretty good, but 2 billion? It's got diesel too. I mean... They do have the biggest economy though, so it's not like 2 billion is gonna make them go broke. I could probably afford to build a couple of heavy cruisers like that myself too. With how much money I have coming in. And we're smoking up. J-33s will probably be the first to launch as soon as the rest of their formation catches up. I'm gonna select some targets for these other ships of mine though. 14's not quite the same range as the 16s. Kind of like what you would expect. J-33s, not all of them are in range yet, so a little bit more sailing before we can launch. There we go, 18.5s, scoring big penetrations on New Hampshire. J-38s might be the first to launch here. Yeah, they will be. Actually, 3818 has already taken some damage. She's gonna launch first and then just get the heck out. Let's see, not quite. Almost torpedo range on these. Good enough. Uh, 3818 is probably not gonna live. Back to the 33s, which should now be in range. They are. You have a target. You have a target. You have a target. You have a target. Let's see, secondary guns probably will not get to fire. What kind of torpedo range do these DDs have? 18.7 on Duet. 12.8. Okay, not very long range torpedoes. The cruisers, though, do carry long range torpedoes. Well, kind of long range. Alright. We getting any of those torpedo hits soon? There you go, enemy battleship has sunk. And torpedoes are torpedoing. That's a lot of torpedo hits on New Hampshire. 7. Not sure if that was what sunk her. I think it was. So good job, J-33s. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna need the Ormen Lange DDs to come in and do anything. I think it's pretty much just mopping up now. So let's start selecting some targets for the bigger guns. I want the 16s focusing the enemy cruisers, and the 14s can like target whatever. And if any DDs get closer, then I've got 10 heavy cruisers here with 10-inch guns. I should be able to take care of that. Decent hit on Toledo. 18.5s from Jotunheim. .16-inch guns are scoring hits as well. Okay, you know what? That's a pretty bunched up enemy formation. Let's bring these new DDs in to do some work. And we got cruisers doing things. There you go, maybe that will work better. I'm just gonna pay a little bit of attention here to my DDs. Make sure I don't accidentally sail them too close. They're kind of too expensive to be expendable. deleting some DDs. Might not need them though. These two. But it would be nice to give them some torpedo hits as well. Getting close to torpedo range, so I'm just gonna preemptively smoke up. And here we go. Let's see. 4306, not quite in range yet, but she's gonna be very soon. There we go, lots of torpedoes in the water. Turn the torps off, then turn them on again. Let's see here. Boston, Minneapolis. Let's get them a bit closer. And then I should have another 20 torpedoes ready to go. There we go. Now you can go home. Hopefully without taking any more hits, and hopefully we're gonna get a couple more torpedo hits out of this. Yeah, no, my cruisers are still doing things back here. So this task force, after the battle, I will probably have to send them down to Panama. Or maybe not. I do have another battlecruiser task force in South America, which would be perfect for that. The Fridtjof Nansen battlecruisers. They can go down there. Well, up there, relative to their current position. And now my DDs are being pursued. But you know what? I don't think their cruisers can escape my battle cruisers. Because they've taken too much flooding. And damage. So even if they were faster to begin with, that's not the case anymore. You are in range. You are in range. You are in range. Excellent. I mean, my own cruisers are being very annoying here, but it doesn't really matter at this point, so I'm just gonna ignore it. And hope that it will make me less annoyed. Definitely no longer pursuing my DDs. Because they're coming in close to my gun line instead. Even firing back. So I gotta be careful here that they don't launch a spread of torpedoes into my battle cruisers. Because that could be that could become ugly. They do have a lot of those torpedoes. There you go, that is one almost dead ship. With my cruisers to target the enemy DDs. Torpedoes blowing up. Love to see that. Alright, everyone has targets. Let's bring A and B turret on Jotunheim back in action. Minneapolis goes down. Now I would like to have my heavy cruisers just turn down this way, sail parallel. To the enemy's course. While the big ships just continue on this maneuver because turning them around is it's just too much of a hassle. to be perfectly honest. And there's some pretty tough heavy cruisers. Not the thickest main belt, but it's thick enough. Not thick enough to actually stand up against guns of this caliber, but still. No, actually, they kind of are. I am getting partial pens on their main belt. With 18-inch guns. At 24 kilometers. I mean, it says like 16.6 inches of penetration at 25 kilometers, but with a bit of angling. I guess 6 inches might be enough. Holding up against the 14th though, definitely. Is anyone firing at Virginia? Yeah, someone is. Let's bring them in a little bit closer again. And then up the game speed. How are we looking on ammo? Not too bad. What are you doing, guys? Go good. Let's get Heimdall and Loki to take some of the heat off of their sisters. Maybe not needed because, well, there goes another heavy cruiser leaving Charleston, the last American ship left afloat. She gets undivided attention from all my capital ships. And there she goes as well. Flooding all over, and structure, well, it would have died to that very soon. So, first larger engagement with the American Navy. They only had one battleship this time though, and I had quite a few heavy units, so result not too unexpected. But nice to see all the same. Let's see, losing some transports, but it's not too bad. let's see. Let's see what's going on with invasions and stuff. I also have a convoy battle here. Another Worcester class light cruiser. Let's see. Did they have that engaged? That task force here. Was it something that just passed through? Or something that is still approaching? Yeah, it's probably this one. The 3 battleships. So, are we gonna reinforce them a bit? I guess we could do that. Send these up there, and these 2 battleships. I'm gonna have to go into the comment section of that video where I designed them, so I can give Astrid a new name. I just went ahead and gave the class a name because they had to have one. So these ships, I guess it's safer for them to just be in a combined task force. It's going to be a lot more tonnage combined than I need for the invasion itself, but still. Now let's see, how is Germany doing with rebuilding her navy? I'm building 5 ships. So the other 20 something that they were building that I accelerated, I think are yeah, they laid down some new DDs. Well, the other one that they built are probably, yeah, finished construction, so that did work. They're just not commissioned yet. Probably gonna have to do that again. Wasn't I gonna fight these ships here? I guess maybe next time. We will see next time. Goodbye and take care.